Yeah. It says here in Dutch. It says, "Become old with me." It's something I'd given Gert years ago. And I don't even know how to start this video. I knew I'd cry. Quite unprepared as well. Because how do you prepare for such a thing, you know? It's been 45 days since my best friend, my mate, my soulmate, my strong and courageous Gert has passed away. And I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I'm looking for ways to like honor him, or thinking like, what would he want me to do? He was writing a book, so I'm looking to see if I can publish it. And yeah, I just want to share him with the world, because he was so special. And the funeral, a piece of the funeral was live streamed also for our family in America and in South Africa. My husband was South African, I am half American. And that I put on his channel already, so you can watch it if you want. And in the funeral, I didn't prepare for it either. My brother and my brother-in-law did a lot, fortunately. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened, but yeah. On the day of the funeral, I was like, I don't want to prepare for it. I don't want it to go through. I want Gert to come back. So on the morning, I threw a bunch of stuff in a bag, and I made myself stand up there and tell everybody who he was. I wanted to honor him that way. Yeah. And don't worry, I do have tissues everywhere in the house. I cry a lot, of course. Cry so much that got this rash here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, so basically I kind of try to cover it up a little bit. Not that this side's much better, but oh well. Who cares anyway? Seriously. I mean, what matters anymore? I was trying to become financially independent so that me and Gert could like travel the world and also tell people about God. Gert was really into apologetics, which means defending of the faith, and he had so much knowledge, so much. I mean, you know, all the YouTube films he made, and if you had a hard question, you could go to Gert, and that's what I did. And he taught me so much, because with my upbringing, I had this distorted belief of who God was, and basically he helped me and find out that God is loving, and find out that God is true, that he would explain to me why evolution theory cannot be true, and he had so much knowledge about it. And when he said something, he said it so, you know, this is the facts. And I love him so much. Oh, his favorite Bible text I put on, well, actually my sister-in-law, she made a card. And his favorite Bible text is, "But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and always be ready to give a defense to anyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you, in meekness and fear." In 1 Peter 3, verse 15. And that's what Gert did. He would answer questions in meekness and fear of the Lord. Yeah. And he would encourage people to read the Bible in its context. And he would always say, text out of context is pretext. But he would also say, if you are not willing to hear and understand an opposing viewpoint, are you really confident in your own beliefs and convictions? So basically, if you're not willing to hear the other side or look into the other side of what you believe, are you really convicted of your own beliefs? And you know, I believe Gert could have done so much here on earth. I believe that he's in heaven now and is probably having a better time than me, which is fine. He deserves that. I'm the one who has to miss him. And I miss him every single second for the last 45 days. For those that are wondering, like, what actually happened is, it was probably a combination of the new medicine, the inotuzumab, and that he had been radiated 1.5 years ago. And the small vessels in the liver, the toxicity of, they became like toxic, and basically the liver failed. Sorry, I'm not able to, you know, Gert was better in those things as well. I mean, Gert would be the one behind the YouTube channels, behind his 2 ones, and then mine, he would like set stuff up for me and edit it for me and encourage me, and I made some videos, but I couldn't have done even one without him. I don't know how to put this up. I was looking like, how do I do the microphone just now, and where do I plug it in? I have no idea, no clue. But I just really want to still share Gert with the world, and be open and honest. You know what I was just saying about, if you're not willing to understand an opposing viewpoint, are you really confident in your own beliefs and convictions? Of course, with what happened now, the doubt creeps in at night. The night's so long, I don't sleep well. And it's okay. I found out God is bigger than my doubts. I still don't have an explanation why it went this way. But my doubts are there, and they can be there. It's okay. And the fact that I am willing to face these doubts in my beliefs, to face everything at the moment, actually shows that I'm still able to be critical about my own faiths, about my own beliefs, and use critical thinking. And that's something Gert taught me, was to think critical. We had even made a video about that. I might link it at the end of this video. No idea how to do that, by the way. I've been trying to figure so much stuff out this last month. I mean, it's not normal, really. Maybe I was too dependent on him. I don't know. But you know, it was just the way our relationship worked. I mean, he was dependent on me for certain things, and I was dependent on him for certain things. And I think that's quite normal in a marriage, because you kind of like, in Dutch we say you fill each other where the other has gaps, you know. And that's basically what marriage is. And now I'm like facing my gaps. Oh, and I'm raking my brain for reasons why this happened, and falling into the same trap and pit that the friends of Job had fallen into. And then I picked up an old book of mine, actually, which I got years ago when something else bad happened in my life, and it's called When Life Falls Apart by Warren W. I don't even know who he is, but this book is good. So and it basically said what I had already written down, or certain things which I had written down. I write a lot about Gert. This is my third book I'm busy in right now. And yeah, I basically just write the whole process, and write memories of him, things I don't want to forget about him, because I'm scared that I will. Anyway, I had written down in the book as well that God doesn't owe me an explanation. And I will keep serving God. And I make a choice to keep believing, even in these circumstances. I will face my doubts, however. I will raise questions and think critically, because that's what Gert taught me to do. And I know the price that comes with not thinking critically. It says here, far more important than reasons and explanations is our personal relationship to God. And that's basically what pulled me through this last month. Another point it says here, a bit further on, I'm skipping stuff here. God's purposes are often hidden from us. He owes us no explanations. We owe him our complete love and trust. It's basically what I had already come to the conclusion of. We must be honest with ourselves and with God. Tell God how you feel. He knows anyway. But it will do you good to be open and honest with him. Maintaining a poised facade when you are hurting deeply only makes hurt worse. I am not always very good at speaking, to be honest. Especially to other people. It's also something I had to learn in my marriage, to communicate better. But I write a lot, and I pray. And sometimes my prayer is my writing, and my writing is my therapy, and everything is intertwined. So I'm trying to be honest with God, and he already knows, but it's just better for me. This point. Beware of cut and dried theologies that reduce the ways of God to a manageable formula that keeps life safe. Yeah, I don't know why this happened, and to come up with an explanation that's easy is just diminishing God and diminishing life in all its complicity. So don't do that. Just don't. There is no formula of faith, and faith is simple, yes, but it's also it's not a formula. It's not like prayer this prayer and this will happen, or prayer this prayer and that'll happen. It doesn't work that way. It's not like this how do you say it? When in magic, when they have like these books with sayings, potions, and then something happens, it's not like that. It's complex, and God is complex, but also faith is very simple. Is believing, and something sometimes almost even childlike. I mean, Jesus said in his Bible that children accept the simple faith much better. Point number 5. Suffering is not always punishment for sin. Sometimes it is, but not always. It doesn't hurt to examine our own hearts, but we must not get carried away with the error of Job's 3 friends. Good point. And seems to be something that a lot of Christians fall for this error. Gert was a very righteous man. Very. There's nothing he did to deserve this. Absolutely not. And God doesn't work that way. I can't believe some people still think like that. But God is love, and it's never his will or intention. Sometimes life is just not fair, and it says in the Bible, it rains for the righteous and the unrighteous. And the last point, in all of their suffering, God's people have access to God. Job cried out for an arbitrator to bring him and God together. If only there was someone to arbitrate between us, to lay his hand upon us both. There is such a person. He is Jesus Christ the Savior, who today represents believers before the throne of God. For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Jesus Christ. In 1 Timothy 2 verse 5. Because Jesus Christ is both God and man, he is able to lay his hands upon us both and bring men and God together. He is merciful and faithful, a high priest on our behalf in heaven. Because of Christ, God's throne is not a throne of judgment. It is for his people a throne of grace. Again, I don't know what to do with this film. I don't even know how to upload it, but if you see this, I figured it out. This is Gert's last book he was reading. I'm reading it now. Gert only made it this far. He was so enthusiastic about this book. And if you guys want me to keep posting, I'll post something about this book next time. If you want me to post during this period, I will. I won't do it for myself. No. I sometimes feel like crawling under a stone and staying there. But if someone wants it, I'll do it, and I do want to still share Gert with the world, and everything he's taught me. So, sorry, this was basically almost 20 minutes of me blubber crying. Yeah. Well, this isn't the worst cry I've had. I mean, if you cry so much you get a rash, you can basically probably picture it wasn't pretty. And I don't care. Gert would have wanted me to go on. I know that. I'm trying. I'm trying. So much has already happened in the last month. It's weird. I had to make quite a big decision this last month, and I had to do it without Gert. And he would always encourage me to make my own decisions. But I was able to always get his viewpoint in these things, and he was so analytical. I am too, but fortunately, I've learned in my journey of learning to think critical that I'm quite analytical as well. So, and that's probably what drew me and Gert together, you know, our love for science and our analytical thinkings. I wear his wedding ring. This is his, this is mine. And this is something he bought me in Israel. It's the letter Chai, which means life. And he bought that for me when we were married 10 years. This year we're going to be married 15 years. I was 16 when we started dating. I was actually 15 when I fell in love with him. I was very young. And I married from house, so I don't know how to do this without Gert, but I'll try. Okay, I really gotta stop because... Bye. Oh gosh.